After surveying less than 4,000 Nigerians in September, Bloomberg opinion poll favored Peter Obi to win the 2023 presidential election. This has generated some reactions from the opposition parties, especially the APC, for lacking credibility because it used an app to conduct an opinion poll in Nigeria where 95% of the people do not have access to such apps. With the complex nature of voting in Nigeria, does this look like a mirage, BKO?
Well, there are so many people out there, outside of our country, who do not know how elections are won in our country, who do not pay attention to some little details that come into play when Nigerians are voting in the general election. I'm happy that Bloomberg admitted in that story that only about 44% of Nigerians have Android phones. No one is even sure of the accuracy of that claim. 44% of Nigerians have Android phones. So if 44% of Nigerians have Android phones, in this kind of survey, what it portends is that you've left out a huge swath, a huge number of people in conducting this survey. And for a survey to actually give Obi 72% out of 92% of the people surveyed, there's no way Obi can score 72% of the total votes in an election. It's just not going to happen. So some of these surveys are too good to be true, do not bear in mind some of the factors that shape elections in our country. For example, ethnicity is a major factor. Religion is a major factor in determining who wins and where. If you conduct a survey that does not bear in mind some of these factors, then that survey cannot be said to be representative. So this is the thing. Just if out of 92% of people who have made up their minds to vote, you are saying 72% have promised to vote for Peter Obi, then it suggests that the survey is not representative because it has left out a huge chunk of people who do not even have phones, not to talk of Android phones. There are many people who do not have Android phones. Bloomberg has told us 44% of Nigerians don't have Android phones. And I can tell you that in rural Nigeria, a good number of people always come out on election days to vote. These are the poorest of the poor and the elderly. The elderly usually vote a lot more than young people in our country. Even in the last election that we had in Osun and Ekiti, we still saw a huge percentage of elderly people coming out to vote. So for a survey to be representative, it has to capture in sufficient numbers that segment of the voting public, the elderly people, the people in the rural areas who do not even use phones, people who do not have access to electricity, not to talk of using their phones. There are many areas where electricity is not even connected to the national grid, where the people do not have access to electricity, they just get by, where there is little or no presence of government. So a survey of privileged people who have access to Android phones, I'm afraid, can't be representative.